What is up, everybody? Giants Nation, Big Blue Nation, all the Giants fans out there. It's Rob and Donald. This is Nerding Out Sports, and we've got a big one coming up Sunday afternoon. New York Giants hosting the Baltimore Ravens at Metlife Stadium, looking to go 5-1, but standing in their way is Lamar Jackson, the MVP candidate, and the Ravens, Wink Martindale's former team. Big game Sunday. Got some key guys coming back, some players that still probably won't see the field, but we'll get into all of that. Donald, initial thoughts going into this game. What are you thinking?
It's going to be a tough physical contest. It's going to be based on the run game again. I mean, obviously, from our standpoint, but from their standpoint, they got plenty of options on the run. Lamar Jackson's probably the premier rushing quarterback in the NFL. Then when you add Dobbins, Duvernay sometimes comes in there in the backfield. They heavily rely on the run game.
They certainly do. We already got a couple comments here. First from Tuto, massive salute, Big Boss Rob and Donald. A Paisano, Gabagool, how you doing, my friend Tuto? And Tony Clark, yo, what is up, Tony?
What is up, Tony?
Popping in. Yeah, you're right. They are a very run-happy team, and that's one thing the Giants have surprisingly struggled with so far. And I think the loss of Leonard Williams certainly has been the reason for our run defense not being as good as it probably could be, but he could be back this week. Big Cat, it's looking pretty good that he is back out there this Sunday, so that can certainly help.
He's limited. Look what we got here. Sup, fellas? Got to stop the run on D and cover Mark Andrews. Well,
yes,
100% have to cover Mark Andrews.
Who's going to cover him? It's a big question. Who's covering him? Is it McKinney? Do they put Landon Collins on him?
I'm thinking Landon Collins. He's been working out with the linebackers, so I could see him possibly starting at linebacker or certainly having plenty of snaps at linebacker, and he might be tasked with stopping Andrews.
It'll be interesting to see who Wink puts on him. But one thing that we have seen the Giants do defensively is first half they'll do certain things and it might not work, but Wink has been so good at those second half adjustments. So if the Ravens are doing something well in the first half, he's going to adjust in half number two. So they're going to find a way at least to try to neutralize that threat, which is the main threat is going to be stopping Lamar Jackson because he can beat you in so many ways. That's why he's the front runner for MVP right now. But if you can contain him somehow, some way, contain him, the Giants are going to have a much better chance of winning this game than most people think.
Their defense isn't as great as it has been in previous years. I think we can certainly get them in the run game. They do give up some yards on D. I'm not quite sure about Lamar's passing options. After they got rid of Hollywood Brown, it's basically just been Bateman and Duvernay. Bateman was out in the previous game, so it was just all Duvernay. They don't really have another wide receiver threat to be concerned about other than those two. So Andrews is going to obviously be seriously used a lot, but I'm a little surprised at their lack of options, and maybe this is why Lamar Jackson has made it clear that he isn't signing an extension, he may be moved.
Yeah, that's a good point because right now their main weapon is Andrews in the passing game. Now, if they get Bateman in there and Duvernay, that's good weapons to have, especially against a Giants secondary that even though it's been a lot better than people might think, Adoree Jackson, is he 100%? What's his percentage of health coming into this game? Because we know he got banged up after last week, and the comments are starting to fly in here. First, from Luca. Says, sup, Tudo. So he says what's up to his paisano. Of course, you need a spy for Lamar Jackson. Absolutely. Who do you trust, Landon Collins or Jalen Smith? It's either Collins or McKinney to me, because McKinney's probably our best coverage guy out of those guys that can drop into the box. I wouldn't trust Tay Crowder, any of those other linebackers. Jalen Smith's a good option because he's played really well, but he's also been solid in the run department. I think you kind of have to keep him out there. So I would put Collins or McKinney on Andrews, at least to start. And if they get beat, maybe you can shift to Jalen Smith.
I would actually use Landon Collins as a spy. Keep Jalen Smith as you have been in terms of his pass rush abilities. Plus, someone's going to have to be spying on Lamar Jackson with his runs. So, and you need Xavier McKinney will be doing that too. It's going to be all hands on deck in terms of stopping the run. Dexter Lawrence has got his work cut out for him. But if anyone could do it, it can be Dex.
Yeah, Big Dex, Sexy Dexy, whatever you want to call him. He's been all pro. He's been all pro. Tudo says, Big Boss Rob, please suit me up against Ravens loses, and I'll provide you with the best O-lines, pancakes, oh, my God. And Lamar's season the first. Oh, my God, Tudo, what are you doing? You making him swim with the fishes? Yeesh, Gabagool over here. Tudo is going full Sopranos on Lamar Jackson. And Tony Clark says, if you don't find a solution for Andrew, it's going to be over quick. Yeah, they have to keep Andrews contained, but you got to keep Lamar contained, because even if you have two guys on Mark Andrews, he'll find Duvernay or he'll just take the yards himself. The Giants have got to stop Lamar Jackson first, and then they can worry about the rest. He's the main threat with this Ravens offense, but obviously Andrews is a very close number 2, and they also have some good running backs, as Donald mentioned earlier. So all hands on deck is a very good way of putting it. But that's one thing the Giants defense has been good with so far. They haven't really gotten torched yet by an offense. This might be the best offense that would do it because of who they have under center and the weapons that they have. Green Bay, we said that last week about Green Bay, and we did a pretty good job against them in the second half. So it'll be important to see what adjustments are made, if any, in the second half as the game goes on. Because like I said earlier, that's what Wink has been so good at, is those adjustments mid-game, second half, whatever it may be, to keep us from falling too far behind.
If anyone knows Baltimore, it's Wink. So that's a positive for us. But this is by far the best offense we've faced this year, including the Packers. I know Aaron Rodgers is the MVP, but his receiving options are kind of limited. So I think this one, in terms of strength, they're very, very strong. They've got a good line. They do have options, and Lamar Jackson is just absolutely electric. It's going to be very, very difficult to stop him. I've got the Baltimore's injury report of Wednesday and Thursday. So Rashad Bateman didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday. So that is a foot injury. So that's not trending too good for Rashad Bateman. Maybe he's out. He was out last week. Calais Campbell, not injury-related rest, so he should be fine. Ben Cleveland didn't practice. Justice Hill, limited practice. Justin Houston didn't practice. Ronnie Stanley and Marcus Peters were just rested. Nick Boyle, too. So that's theirs. We've got our injury report. Cordell Flott out, of course. Didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday. What else is new? Jamie Gillan has been released from England, thank God. So I think he should be okay for Sunday. Kenny Golladay, well, less said about him, the better. He's out. Tony Jefferson, not good news. Didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday. He's out. Jason Pinnock didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday either, nor did Tony. Saquon's limited all week thus far. So
is that a precaution, though? I think they're just being cautious with him because
hopefully. I mean, I can't imagine in a scenario that he won't play. Darnay Holmes limited as well with a quad. Dory Jackson limited all week. Same with Myrick. Same with Ojolari. Same with Wan'Dale Robinson. Tyrod Taylor's fully fit. Leonard Williams is limited. Tanner Hudson, illness. Jihad Ward is just rested, not injury related. So we've got a lot of injuries, people.
Yeah. And shout out to Alex. He's in class right now. No volume, but he doesn't want to be a pain in the ass. That's okay. Let me know in chat what the prediction questions are. We will certainly drop those for you. I'll actually do that right now. I'm going to ask you a question, Donald, because I've been kind of daydreaming right now, right? Not right now, but in the past few days since we went 4-1. Have your expectations changed at all for this season, because I've already got us. I had us at 2-4 through 6 weeks. We're already going to be guaranteed 2 games better than that. Mm-hmm. Are the playoffs starting to creep, at the very least, starting to creep in the back of your mind? Have your expectations changed at all? Or are you still par for the course? Doesn't matter what happens. This season's already kind of been successful.
Oh, the season's already successful. Right? That's no question about that. Season's already successful. Why? Because we needed to see tangible progress. We needed to see good coaching. And we needed Saquon to show that he was a superstar again. And we just needed our younger guys to develop. All of that has been ticked, and we're only 5 games in. So that is wonderful news. As for the results and as for the playoffs, yes. The answer is yes. We have an opportunity. I could see 9. I can see 10 if we're lucky wins, and 9 or 10 wins. There's a very good chance we make the playoffs with 9 or 10 wins. We'll 100% be in the conversation all year long, which is what we were. That was our. I think that was probably our wildest expectation if we were in the playoff hunt at this stage. So 4-1's insane. I never thought that would be possible. I mean, let's be honest. I think after the Ravens is more likely to be 4-2, but we do have a fairly decent schedule. I'm sorry, but the Texans are beatable. The Lions have got a good offense. The Jags have got a good offense, but both are beatable too. Washington are terrible. The Commandos are awful. We're an awful ball club. So you should be expecting 2 wins out of that, even if we were not at full strength. So right there, you're right in there around about the 7 or 8 win vicinity. And you never know if we steal one off the Cowboys, the Eagles. I doubt it, but who knows? We've got a shot. We got more than a shot. I think 9 or 10 wins.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And Tony, we're not guaranteeing playoffs, but look, we've been deprived of postseason play, postseason talk for so long. The fact that the Giants have already exceeded expectations to this point, the NFC is good, but it's not like this unbeatable group of teams that you can't get past. And Donald just went over the schedule. There's a lot of winnable games that 10 or maybe even 11, but 9 to 10 wins could possibly get you in. Even if they don't get in, there is a very good chance that they are in the hunt until the end of the season, which is more than we could have asked for. We were just expecting, even if you win 6-7 games, just be competitive and show us that whatever they're doing is working. It's going to give us hope for the future years ahead to where we can become that playoff contender that we always were with Tom Coughlin. But the fact that the Giants at less than 100%, way less than 100% of a team right now are finding ways to win games, that's not a mistake. They're not fluky wins. You can say Tennessee, because of the missed field goal, was a fluky win, but that win last week, that wasn't a fluke. The Giants took care of business, and they did what they had to do to come back and win that game. Carolina game was sloppy, but it was a W. And for a rebuilding team, you're finding ways to win. That could only be a good thing. So we're not guaranteeing playoffs right here. So my question was basically, are you starting to at least have that thought in the back of your mind? So my answer to my own question is yes, I am starting to have that thought, but I'm also going to keep my expectations kind of tempered to where it's like, if they don't make it, I'm not going to be like, oh, here we go again, same old crap.
Exactly. As we've already argued, this is already a win this season, as far as I'm concerned. No matter what happens the rest of the year, I think that we have seen enough progress for us to be very, very excited about. But looking at the schedule, we're not. I'm not saying that we're a very strong team. We're not. But there was never any expectations that we were. But if you look at that schedule, there's a lot of winnable games there. There's 3 winnable, absolute lock-on winnable games if you even turn up with a modicum of decency. You're going to beat the Texans in the 2 games against the Commandos, right? And then you're already at 7 wins, right? So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're definitely going to win those games, but if you turn up and play fairly well, you should win them. So it's definitely been a success at this point. Let's get back on track with the Ravens game rather than talking playoffs because anything can happen. Jones could get hurt, Saquon could get hurt. God forbid, knock on wood, that doesn't happen, but anything can happen. But certainly at this stage, there's a good shot,
right,
or an outside shot anyway. Let's get back to the Ravens. Their defense is pretty good, so it's up and down. It's been kind of mediocre. So they've allowed 23.4 points per game, which is 17th. In the league, but they lead the league in takeaways with 11 so far. So they are very much based on turnovers.
Ball hawks.
Yeah,
8 interceptions already for the defense in total.
Yeah, they really have. They've been balling out. So they had 2 sacks and an interception last week. So they're going to be a very difficult test for us. The Giants, though, have protected the ball very, very well. Just the 5 turnovers, which is the 5th fewest in the league at this stage. So the Giants are maybe a good matchup for that. If they protect the ball, Baltimore's defense isn't unstoppable. Their defense is very much reliant on turnovers because, as we've already mentioned, they give up 23.4 points per game, which is a little more than I would expect for a Baltimore team. I don't know about Calais Campbell. He obviously has not been practicing, so maybe there's a chance that he misses that game. I'm not quite sure. They've given up surprising amount of yards to Miami and New England so far. So there's ways in which we can rack up yards if Saquon's healthy.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's going to come from Saquon. Obviously, that's the main part of our offense, but we could get Wan'Dale back this week. What's his role going to be? We've already seen what they do with the tight ends, and some guys are going to have to step up. That's what we've been saying every single week with this receiving core. Darius Slayton looked really, really good last week, so that's only a positive. And if we can get some guys pretty healthy, I think Wan'Dale is going to really be an X factor for this offense if he's out there because we need the bodies. We just need them. Tudo says, Ravens' plans are to put as many scores on the D as possible in the first half and put their defense on front lines. Look, first half Giants are not great.
Yeah,
but
Giants are pretty weak in the first half. You're quite right, Tudo.
Second half Giants are really good. So if they keep
That's
it close.
What I love about our coaching staff. Our coaching staff is so good that they make these incredible adjustments at halftime. Like our bend but don't break defense in the first half turns out into just a balling out defense in the second half. So I can't say enough about our coaching staff at this stage.
Yeah, the coaches have been phenomenal. Everybody, Dable, of course, Kafka, Wink. They're all doing their job. They're making adjustments, which is something we have not been able to say, for a while, because we would just see the same thing go from first quarter to fourth quarter. No adjustments we made. They try the same boring offense and hope that something would click. They're not doing that this year. Early on, remember the Tennessee game, they didn't use Saquon a ton in the first half. Second half, they featured Saquon. They got back in the game, eventually won. Same thing happened week after week. Same thing last week. They were finding ways to get the ball out of Daniel Jones's hand quickly. They were featuring different looks, and the Packers were not stopping it. It wasn't really just Saquon. They were not able to stop anything the Giants were doing, so they just kept doing it, whether it was quick throws to Bellinger. They were getting, I don't know his name already, Marcus Johnson. They were getting him involved as well. The Packers couldn't stop anything they were doing, so they just said, okay, what's working? Let's not go away from it. So I love that approach. It's a very simple approach. Hey, something's not working. Let's change it up as we get back into the second half because this is still a ball game. They haven't been out of any of these games yet at the end of the first half, so that's important. There have been plenty of games last year where the Giants were giving up points right before the end of the first half, and they were getting outscored 59-0 at the end of the second quarter. It was atrocious. So the fact that they're always in the game, they're fighting through the first half, even if it's not pretty, the second half adjustments are made and the team looks so much better, and that's what propels them to be able to come back and win these games. They already have 3 comeback wins, and Daniel Jones has led the charge on those drives already. I believe he leads the league in comeback wins already this year. So it's not pretty, We're not saying the Giants have transformed from a bad team to this amazing team that nobody can stop, but it's something that we've all been asking for, which is improvement, smart coaching, and progression. And we've seen that week after week from this team.
So I'm just reading an interview with Wink Martindale. He was asked about leaving Baltimore, and he just says, "Listen, leaving has re-energized me to go someplace new and try to build it again." Sounds like he's got a long-term vision here to be part of the Giants' long-term future. He is such an elite assistant coach. It's unbelievable. Like, I was actually wanted him as our head coach instead of hiring Joe Judge. I love Wink Martindale. I'm a huge fan of his. I love his defense. It's a formidable defense. Ranks 9th in points per game allowed, which is just unbelievable. And he's doing it without all his pieces, really. I mean, listen, he's got one guy like Jihad Ward who he's carried with him, but he's making it work with some guys that you unheralded, really. We only really have one corner, and we're a lot of practice guys, a lot of guys picked up off the waiver wire, and dude is turning us into a very, very good defense. So I think a lot of this goes down to Wink Martindale. I absolutely love him. He's such a great coach.
Yeah, and you look at the names that we have right now, because Leonard Williams has been out. We've only had Ojulari for 2 games, so we haven't really seen a lot from him. But look at Kayvon Thibodeau, how well he's played. Look at Dexter Lawrence. I mean, he's always been good, but Dexter Lawrence is playing at an all-pro level this year. He's been fantastic, so you got to think Wink's influence has helped him there. You mentioned Jihad Ward. He stepped up. O'Shane Ximenez has looked the best he's looked since his rookie season. Guys like McLeod and Fabian Moreau have stepped up in the secondary.
I like Moreau. Moreau's done very well.
Our guys are stepping up when they have to. And you look at the names, and you're not seeing like household guys. Dane Belton was a pick that not a lot of Giants fans were even happy about. I wasn't really jumping through the roof about the Dane Belton pick, but he's looked good.
Well.
Carter Coughlin he's one of the special teams guy. What am I thinking? I'm thinking of McFadden. McFadden's been fine, but look at Jalen Smith. Nobody picked him up. We get him before week 3, and he's been our best linebacker already. He's only played like 2 games. So
hey, Tay Crowder, Mr. Irrelevant, has been one of our main regular starters since he was drafted. As Lucas says here, good teams find a way to win. Bad teams find a way to lose. Your coaching staff is excellent with the roster. They have next man up mentality. Salute, Luca. My colleague at the Boys in the Big Apple podcast. Check us out on Monday nights at 10 past 8 p.m. Yes, he is spot on. It is an next man up mentality. And that's what's awesome. You saw it last week when Saquon was hurt. Gary Brightwell comes in, drives the pile into the end zone. It is a next man up mentality. Somebody goes down, next guy comes up. McLeod stepped in for Fabian Moreau, did a fine job. Belton comes in, pressures Aaron Rodgers. We've got guys that are just fighting for each other, and a lot of it comes down to coaching too.
Yeah, it's a fun team to watch because it's a bunch of scrappy guys, and it's just kind of this makeshift patchwork offense or defense for this matter, and they're making plays. And we haven't been healthy at all. I mean, we missed Ojulari and Kayvon the first couple of weeks. Then we lose Leonard Williams, and he'll be coming back, but probably some limited role. But we've been down some of our better players, and we lost our cornerback too within the first game, and he's out for at least another 4 or 5 weeks at the most. We might not even see him, I think, because he's on IR. I don't know if it's season ending, but we're scrapping. We're scraping away at the bottom of the barrel to find guys to use, and it's working. And we could not say that last year. We could not say that even in 2020, where things were relatively, even though it was a bad year record-wise, it was an okay season because we were looking ahead to the future. You couldn't say that in 2019 and so on and so forth. We were not getting this kind of play from these patchwork players, and we're getting that right now. So you got to think whatever Wink is doing is working. So it goes back to my earlier point. I'm not guaranteeing that this team is here. They've arrived yet, because there's still a lot of work to be done. But you have to be thrilled with how the coaches have gotten certain players that normally would never be talked about to perform at a pretty decent level to where we're not getting killed out there and we're able to win more games than we've lost. So Giants fans, we're enjoying this right now. Even if we lose Sunday, 4-2 would be a dream after the first 6 weeks.
So another couple of shout outs. Andrew Thomas, highest graded player in football at any position, according to PFF. Andrew Thomas graded 91.9 is PFF grade. Is your jersey arrived yet, Rob?
It hasn't shipped out yet. NFL Shop is weird. They say it's ready to ship. I have a gripe with them. It says it right there when you go to order, ready to ship. And then it says it'll ship within 5 business days. And then it says it's going to ship by October 19th. Which one is it? I want my jersey. I want my goddamn jersey. I've been thinking about getting one of those beautiful, beautiful jerseys that they used to wear in the 80s, the legacy jerseys. They brought them back. I was like, do I get Kayvon? Do I get McKinney? And then I saw Andrew Thomas was available. I was like, not many people wear a jersey of an offensive lineman. I've never had one. This is as good a time as any. And I want my jersey already. So NFL Shop, if you're listening, ship the damn thing out because I want to wear it.
Landon Collins coming back, most likely, hopefully, to retire as a Giant. It's a dream come true. Being back here, being back in this atmosphere, being loved, and being back on this team is a great opportunity for me to be around these young guys. He's saying how humbled he is of getting a second chance as a Giant. He said that there was never any intention for him to leave, and it was all Dave Gettleman that forced his exit. So it's good to have Landon Collins back. He was a great Giant. So I like the fact that the Giants kind of came to him and was like, listen, you ain't a safety at this level anymore, but you're going to be a very good linebacker in the box. So I think that's pretty much how it's going to be, because I know that he didn't really want to be a linebacker previously, but it's trending that way. And I think how much he loves the Giants, he's willing to change positions for the good here for us.
I think that says something too about Shane and Dable, that the fact that he never really wanted to be a linebacker. He said it. He didn't want to play linebacker. He wanted to be a safety. And yet they're saying, well, we see you. Oh, even though Wink has already said it's a positionless defense, but the fact that they've already got him working out with a linebacker, so he's going to be out there more than he would be at safety. And he's like, okay, that tells you that he's already buying into what these guys are teaching. He wouldn't have come back if he wasn't buying into it. So I love that players that you never would have thought would come back, because the fact that Odell is even teasing us on Twitter about it, whether it's going to happen or not.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
Exactly. The way that he left and the fact that he wouldn't shut up about it after he was traded. Landon Collins was the same way. He despised Dave Gettleman, and he's back, and he's saying he wants to retire here. That's only a good thing. It means that the organization has shifted. Things have shifted. The regime is new. Things have changed. It's no longer Mara and Gettleman's show. Now it's Joe Shane and Dable's show, and Mara and Tisch and all those bozos in the front office are just kind of like standing back and letting these guys do their thing, because these guys are having fun. Players are signing that you never would have thought you'd see Landon Collins back. And if we get Odell Beckham back, I don't know how I'm going to be able to contain myself on here, because that is a player that we should have never let go.
That's going to be another victory podcast.
It would have to be. If OBJ is back with the Giants this year or even next year, I might explode. I don't know. Donald might have to pour water over his head again.
Name 2 key guys to stop Lamar Jackson.
Kayvon Thibodeau and Xavier McKinney. I think those are our X factors. First level would be Thibodeau, second level McKinney.
Okay. Yep. I would go Dex and McKinney too. McKinney plays a hybrid linebacker safety role. He plays it with aplomb and perfection. But we're gonna need all hands on deck. That's for sure. Shout out to Thibodeau, man, 8 quarterback pressures generated over the past 2 weeks, which leads all rookie defenders. The Big Apple is back. Here we go. What are your thoughts on Thibodeau going in against Lamar Jackson?
I love what he's done so far, and I've already voiced my frustrations with the idiots that were calling him a bust because of one bad play last week. He has been so good, and each week it seems like play by play he's getting better. He affected that game so much last week that will not show up on the stat sheet. The way that he forced Rodgers to move up in the pocket, that last play, how he beat Bakhtiari so quickly that got the strip sack at the end of the game. They triple teamed him against the Bears. They were triple teaming him, and he still found a way to push the pocket. This is not normal. He is a very good player, and he's only going to get better. And now that we're going to have Aziz back and we're going to get Leonard Williams back, it's only going to be a good thing. Now, do I think he's going to have this outstanding game on the stat sheet? He's going to have 8 or 3, 4 sacks, whatever? No. I think he might finally get one this week. That'd be great because of how many guys we'll have back to help him out. But I think he's got a good shot because he's quick and he's got some very good moves. He could do some things that force Lamar Jackson out the other way that could maybe get it into Aziz's arms and he just throws him down, whatever it takes. Or it could be Jihad Ward or O'Shane, whoever it is, Dane Belton on a blitz. I like his odds against the Ravens offensive line. But I will say this. I do think he gets his first sack.
Is that your prediction? Well, I'm excited for that. We have to get into our predictions in the next few minutes. Okay, name one guy, unheralded, who you predict to have a big game.
Unheralded. If he plays, I'm going to say Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yes, that name kind of sprung to mind because he is actually trending towards a return, according to sources.
Before Kadarius Toney, I don't want to talk about him again, but the fact that Wan'Dale's going to see the field before him is pretty wild.
So you think that Wan'Dale might have a role?
I think he has to. If he's out there, you really don't have. I don't want to see David Sills that much, even though he played relatively well against the Packers. Marcus Johnson did fine. Slayton is our number 1 at this point, with Richie James as a number 2. But I think Wan'Dale can kind of sneak out there in the slot and make some things happen because he's that shifty guy that we were hoping Toney would be for us. Right now, it's Wan'Dale. So if he's healthy and ready to go, I say you feature him as much as you can.
He's got the speed that could cause trouble, man. That's a good point. Patrick Queen, though, ain't no joke.
Yeah, that is true. They got some hitters out there, and that they don't have that interception total for nothing. They got some guys that can ball hawk, and they've got some really good coverage guys. But they've also been beat at times this year. We saw Miami do it, and they were beaten by speed, and Wan'Dale's got speed. So I think we got some guys that maybe they can take them over the top with a guy like Slayton. But I still think it could be short throws to Wan'Dale, and he uses shiftiness to kind of get a few extra yards here and there.
I also like Odafe Owe. He's already got a forced fumble and a sack already this year. He's somebody to keep an eye out on. He could matching him up against, like, for instance, Evan Neal might be a tough matchup for Evan Neal. Depends on where they line him up. If it's against Thomas, we should be fine. But Owe is someone to keep an eye out on. He's definitely good. Yeah, Patrick Queen, good coverage linebacker, big hitter.
But they have JPP. I'm sorry to cut you off. They have JPP now, right?
Jason Pierre-Paul, yes, I do believe so. They've got a very good team, man. I like their team a lot. Yeah, he plays for the Ravens. He's another pass rusher for us to watch out for. So they can generate some pressure on our offensive line, which is really good at run blocking, but not great at pass protection. So definitely keep an eye on their pass rush. JPP, Owe, Queen's a good linebacker, inside linebacker. So yeah, they got some good players. Calais Campbell is another threat, but I don't know if he's healthy. at the moment.
That'd be big if he wasn't. I don't wish injury out of anybody, but if he's
a big load to bring down.
If he has to miss another week.
I'm trying to think of who my under the radar player to have a day would be. I mean, I don't even think I could get away with saying Ballinger anymore because he's pretty much been our offense.
He really has.
I'm going to go with. Can I say Jihad Ward? I'm going to go with Jihad Ward because he knows Baltimore. Wink trusts him as his system. He's a system guy. I think he could be an X factor to get in behind and cause some problems. I'm going to go with Jihad Ward just with the fact that he knows the Ravens and Wink will probably be trusting him to do some certain things in terms of pass rush to get in behind. He'll probably know Lamar Jackson's habits. So I'm going to go with Jihad Ward on this one. It's all about our linebacker situation. It's all about our linebackers. We need Tibbs. We need don't think Ojulari is going to be healthy. We need X-Man. We need Landon Collins. We need McKinney up in the box to all have big games, really. And Jalen Smith is very, very important too. You can even throw in Tate Crowder. He needs to tackle well. It's all about our linebackers if we have a shot.
Yeah, you're right. They have if there's any shot of us winning, it has to be stopping Lamar Jackson. And the linebackers are going to be the guys that have to do it because he will get to that second level. He's just that good. Mm-hmm. Even if we get pressure, he will find a way to escape it at some point in this game, and he's going to get to that second level. Who is going to chase him down and make sure he's not picking up 30, 40 yards or something like that? Because he can make that look easy. He's that quick. He's that good. You have to stop Lamar Jackson if you have any hope of beating the Ravens.
The only weakness Lamar Jackson has, and I'm a huge Lamar Jackson fan, is the deep ball accuracy. He's not the best deep ball thrower. So if we get Dexter Lawrence to shut down Dobbins, and as I say, Andrews and Duvernay, assuming that Bateman's hurt, those are the only two receiving threats on that team. So if the run game gets shut down to some extent and you force Lamar to throw deep, we have a pretty good shot. I like our chances that way. I think we can deal with that. I think that's our shot. But as you say, man, even if you get enough pressure on him, he can just spin around and just off he goes for like 30, 40 yards. He's just that kind of dude. Should we get into our predictions?
We should, but first, we got a comment here from Tudo. He says, Rob reminds me so much about my old buddy back in high school in Jersey. Oh, Jersey. So much look-alike, sounds exactly the same. I lost contact with him. Well, it ain't me, I can tell you that, Tudo, because I am not from Jersey, but he's moved back to Italy, so he's back in the motherland. Gabagool to you. I'm glad that I remind you of somebody. At least I'm hoping it's at least a good thought. It was a good buddy, so whatever I can do to help, Tudo. Thank you for popping in and joining with us and being here the whole time, because it's always good to have interaction one way or the other, talking Giants football with everybody. But let's get into those predictions. Alex's predictions are up further in the comments here. I've got them right here. He's got his final score: Ravens 24-20. Giants will get 3 sacks. The first takeaway will come from a Jalen Smith fumble recovery.
Interesting.
And Saquon Barkley will finish with 115 yards total, which is right around what he had last week, but I think he had 106.
So, Jalen Smith fumble recovery, Saquon Barkley 115 yards. What was the other prediction?
3 sacks.
3 sacks
for the Giants, and his final score is 24-20 Baltimore.
The Ravens. Okay. And over to you, Rob.
All right. Well, guess we'll start with the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to say our first takeaway, I think this week, against the best quarterback we've seen this year, we get our first interception. And it's going to come from the returning. Please let him play this week. Landon Collins. He gets his first interception in his first game back at home in front of the crowd against Lamar Jackson.
Wow. I actually quite like that idea. Okay. Saquon Barkley, number of yards.
I like Alex's number. I think he's going to eclipse 100 again. I'm going to go a little bit higher. I say he gets to 124.
Okay. Even with the limited shoulder?
He'll be fine. He has to be.
124 all-purpose yards?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many sacks?
Say 3. I think it's a good number. I agree with Alex there.
So you're going to keep the same number as Alex?
Well, you know what? If we do tie, I don't want to have a tie there. So I'll go 1 up. I'll say we get 4.
Okay. 4 sacks, 124 all-purpose yards. We're getting an interception. Does that mean that Rob thinks that we're going to beat the Baltimore Ravens?
You did it last week. You went bold. I'm going to do it this week. The New York Giants are going to beat the Baltimore Ravens 21-17.
You heard it here first, guys. 21-17. Probably the only prediction that I've seen in the Giants' favor, and I've gone through the media up and down, and I can't see anyone rooting for going for the Giants here. So good for you, man. Okay. Should we get a Daniel Jones prediction in there?
Sure. I don't know if Alex is listening at this point, but what do you want to do? Touchdowns, yards, or stat line?
Both.
Okay, I think he finishes with 205 yards and 1 passing touchdown.
Okay. Any turnovers for Mr. DJ?
Against this defense, I think he might have 1. Hopefully it's kind of early in the game. It doesn't really go crazy or hurt us in a big way. I think at least 1 turnover.
Okay. I think that should pretty much cover it. Oh, yeah. Who's getting the first touchdown?
Oh, yeah. Wow. Alex, I hope Alex is listening. First touchdown. I think it'll be a passing touchdown, so that's where Jones will get his passing touchdown. I think he's going to throw it to Marcus Johnson. I think Marcus Johnson gets it.
Oh, okay. Marcus Johnson touchdown. That is our first touchdown. That's exciting. Okay, and you've got our first turnover being Landon Collins.
Yeah.
Okay. And who's going to lead us in receiving yards?
I kind of want to pick a tight end here, but Darius Slayton for the second week. Tony's dropping some predictions here in the comments. He's got 31-17 Ravens. No respect at all. Barkley with 60 yards rushing out for the second half. Out for the second half. Giants get 2 no turnover.
Riddle.
Tony, this is why your Orioles didn't make the playoffs. Can't believe it.
Oh, Rob's not happy.
Disrespectful. We do love the comments, so thank you, Tony.
Rob is visibly unhappy with that. 31-17. Saquon out for the second half. I think it's the out for the second half stuff that you need to erase from that. We can't be having that. Not happy with that at all. But I think your prediction is spot on, to be honest. 31-17 is probably most likely. Okay. I've got that written down, though, Tony, so we'll check in on that next week and see where we are at. with that prediction. Okay, my turn. Ravens 27. Giants 19.
Bunch of field goals, huh?
Yeah. Okay, nope. 20. 27-20. It's a lot easier than that way. Okay. Giants keep it close, but Ravens are just too strong. Ravens 27, Giants 20. Okay, let's see here. Who gets the first turnover for the Giants? You've got Landon Collins. He's got Jalen Smith. I'm going to go a forced fumble from Thibodeau.
Okay.
Possibly a fumble recovery from Jihad Ward, but forced fumble. I'm gonna go with a forced fumble in our favor right there. Possibility of an interception, maybe a deep ball interception. I can see that from Adoree Jackson. I could see that. But yeah, forced fumble Tibbs. I think that'll be our first turnover. But I'll certainly write down that I think possibly an interception for Adoree. Saquon Barkley, number of yards. I'm going to go 100 all-purpose. So Tony's got 60 rushing yards. Yeah, I would go about 65. 65 rushing yards, 35 receiving yards, something in that vicinity for Saquon. But yeah, 100 all in. Just call it 100 yards for Saquon. Number of sacks. So Tibbs will definitely get a sack. I think Jihad Ward will get a sack. I'm going to go 2 sacks.
Okay.
And number of yards for Daniel Jones. About 190 yards for Daniel Jones. Once again, under 200s. 1 passing touchdown. I'm in complete agreement with you. 2 turnovers.
2. Okay.
So turnovers.
That'll probably be the deciding factor in your picks, I'm assuming.
That's my deciding factor on the picks. Darius Slayton. You've got Darius Slayton as most receiving yards. I think that's probably the most likely outcome, but I'm going to go. Well, I had Richie James last week. Am I going to? Darius Slayton seems to be make the most sense because there's very little options for him. So I'm going to have to agree with you on that. But because you've already picked that, we need to do some little difference. So I am going to go with Richie James again. Okay. And I think that is that every prediction there?
I believe so.
Okay. So let's get to our weekly picks.
Let's do so. How did we do last week? Who won the week?
Have a look. Right. So, Rob, you had the Packers. I had the Giants. Charge! Very happy with that. Okay, 1-0 to me. We both had the Lions, which is
brutally
an L. Pretty
Brutal
much a very bad L. We both had the Chargers.
Okay. That was close, but we got it.
We held right there. We both had the Jags.
It's looking pretty rough so far. You know, at least on my end, because you at least got that Giants pick.
At least I got the Giants pick. We both had Tampa Bay.
Okay.
We both had Buffalo. Oh, I made a smart pick. Rob, you had the Dolphins. I had the Jets. I
Yeah.
had Lucas Jets.
Who would have saw that coming? 40 points up on the Dolphins. I don't care who your quarterback was. You don't give up 40 points to the New York Jets.
So, 4. Okay. We both had the Vikings.
Smart pick.
Mm-hmm. Rob, you had the Saints. I had the Seahawks. So smart pick for you. That's one pick for you. That's worked out. Rob, you had the Commandos.
Yeah.
And I had the Titans. So victory for me. Okay. Rob, you had Dallas. I had LA. Good job, Rob. Rob on the comeback trail. Rob, you had the Ravens. I had the Bengals. Is Rob on the comeback trail here?
The comeback here. You hear those? You hear that? That's the sound of the comeback.
So what's the score now at this point?
I honestly have no idea. I just know that we're
I thought you were writing it down.
we're pretty. I know we were pretty close. You had a couple of picks on me because the Jets pick, the Commanders. We were pretty even.
Yes. Yeah. We'll have to calculate it after. We both had the Chiefs.
That was close.
We both had the 49ers. So that's good for us. Okay. Was it Eagles Cincinnati? Was that the game?
It was Eagles and Cardinals.
Eagles, that's right. Eagles and Cardinals. I had the Cardinals. Rob, you had the Eagles.
I think that puts me over the top.
Does that put you over the top? All right, let's get this looked at here.
Because I'm looking at it. I had the Chiefs, I had the Ravens, I had the Eagles, I had the Cowboys, the 49ers, I had the Jaguars, I had the Commanders, I had the Bucks, so I'm 6-2. I had the Dolphins 6-3. I had the Saints 7-3. I had the Lions 7-4, Vikings 8-4, Chargers 9-4, Bills 10-4, and I had the Packers. So it was 10-5 for the week that we picked games.
10-5 is very strong, man. It's a good week. We're very good at this. Okay, I had the Packer game right. So the Giants 1-1 with the Lions, 1-2 because of the Jags. Right about the Chargers 2-2. Tampa right 3-2. Buffalo right 4-2. I was right about the Jets 5-2. Right about the Vikings 6-2. I was right about the Titans 7-2. I was wrong with the Saints Seahawks 7-3. I was wrong with the Eagle game 7-4. I was wrong with the LA game 7-5. I was right about the 49ers 8-5. I was wrong with the Ravens. Oh, you're right. 8-6. Chiefs 9-6. I was 9-6. You were 10-5. Is that right?
Yeah. One game up.
Oh.
I take the W for the week.
Even though I got the Giants one right. Damn it, Donald.
Very,
that was
very
close, though. That was very close. That was a good, strong week. We should be very, very proud of that. Very good week.
I want to get to this comment here from Tudo. He says, it was a good thing about his old buddy. He was the coolest, greatest, and smartest guy on campus. Well, I'm glad I remind you of your good buddy there, Tudo.
Tudo is the man. Tudo is the man. Okay, week 6. Have you
do
got
it.
the fixtures? Get the fixtures up, my man.
The what?
The fixtures.
I don't know what fixtures. What are we doing here?
Fixtures. The games. Sorry.
You want me to give you
Yeah.
the games? Okay. So we already got. I got the Giants. You got the Ravens.
Okay. So Rob's going Giants. I'm going Ravens. Okay. Next one.
49ers and Falcons. Falcons are at home.
I like the 49ers a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Niners. Got the
Anybody else in
Patriots.
the chat? Welcome to put in their picks. Tony Clark's going Ravens. Yeah.
We know that. He's got the Falcons as well.
Okay.
Got the Patriots and Browns.
Pats, Browns.
Browns are 2.5-point favorite.
It's a very interesting matchup. Now, and my picks, I think I have the Browns. Yeah, I've got the Browns in my Boys in the Big Apple prediction. What about you?
I'm going to take the Patriots.
Okay, Rob, Patriots. That's not a bad pick at all. They're pretty good. They surprised me. I was really down on them, but they had a really good week last week. So you might be riding the hot hand. I'm going to go Browns. Tony's going Browns. Okay.
Next up, we got the Jets visiting Lambeau Field to take on the Green Bay Packers. Packers are mad.
Yeah.
Another New York team in their way.
Exactly.
Packers.
I'm going. Yeah, we're both going Packers for this. Although I think the Jets match up really well with them. I just can't imagine that they are going to allow losing to both New York teams. I think they're going to come out angry. Although Tony has the Jets winning. Jets are a really good matchup for them. I think the Jets are going to give them a freaking nightmare.
I think it's going to be close. I do.
I just think that the Packers season would basically be over if they lost to both New York teams. So they can't really afford to lose. So
Tom Grossi would lose his mind if both New York teams beat the Packers. Which kind of want to see that happen.
It would be kind of funny.
We got the Jaguars visiting the Colts. Big game in the AFC South, actually.
Very interesting game. I don't know how I'm going to call this one. How would you go on?
The Colts are so difficult to pick because they beat the Chiefs, but they struggle against other teams. Jacksonville's a team that always seems to play them pretty well, so I'm going to take Jacksonville.
Yep, I had the Jags as well in my Boys in the Big Apple one, so both going Jags.
Tony as well picking the Jags.
And Tony, okay. Jags had such a bad week last week, so we'll need to see how they show up this week.
Got
but
the
Vikings. Colts, if the Colts lose, their season's in serious jeopardy. But they don't really have any receiving options. So, yeah, go Jags. Okay.
Vikings and Dolphins. Tua will not play, so Skylar Thompson will get the start again, looking like every frat boy ever will get the start. I'm going Minnesota.
Yeah. We have to go Minnesota here. The Vikings must be delighted because if it was Tua, I'm going Dolphins.
Yeah, they need him back in the worst way. I'm glad they're taking their time because of how brutal that hit was on him, and just it was terrifying, and it was terrible what they did by rolling him back out there.
Terrible.
So I'm glad they're not rushing him back. But Minnesota wins this one.
Yeah.
Tony's got Vikings in a blowout. Jefferson, 200 yards.
Fantasy owners would love that. Okay.
Bengals and Saints in the Dome. A couple of 2 and 3 teams duking it out.
I've gone Bengals basically every single week, and all they do is let me down in the worst way.
Yeah, me too. Because they were my Super Bowl pick, and here they are at 2-3.
They're not even playing very well. But I don't like the Saints quarterback situation. And
I don't know if Taysom Hill has 4 touchdowns again.
No, and that's basically how they can win games. You never voted. I can't see any scenario where you go against a quarterback like Joe Burrow, especially when the other team doesn't have a quarterback. So I'm going Cincy.
I'll take the Bengals. Tony's got the Saints. Okay. He's got Nolans.
Well, the Saints have Taysom Hill. And they've got Kamara.
We got the Bucks visiting Heinz Field, taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, the 1-4 Steelers. My
the Steelers are such a disgrace. As Joe Benengo says, what a disgrace.
I don't think that changes this week. I think the Bucks take this one.
Oh my God, yeah. I think that's a blowout. It's like the Steelers shouldn't be this bad. They've got talent. They've got a hell of a defense. They've got offensive weapons. Why are they so freaking bad? They are horrible, horrible to watch.
Is it the quarterback?
Well, yeah, you don't really have a quarterback. They really miss Big Ben. And, yeah, they've had some underperformances. It's a weird situation that they've got over there. It really does. Harris has not been good.
Yeah. They need a lot of help over there in Pittsburgh. We knew it was going to be transition with Big Ben retiring, but I didn't think they'd be 1-4.
I didn't think so either. But the Bucks are going to steamroll them, piss on them. Okay.
Another 1-4 team. The Panthers visit the Rams. The Panthers, maybe they're happier now because Matt Rule's finally gone. The Wicked Witch is dead in Carolina. So I still don't think they win.
So bad. He did such a bad job.
Yeah, they're going to pay him a lot of money. A lot of money to not coach for them. I still think the Rams take this one. They're 10-point favorites.
Yeah, I think the only question is whether they make the spread. I think they will. The Rams desperately need to win, and the Panthers suck. So.
And Panthers win. He's always got the Panthers winning this one. Okay, Tony going for the upset of the century there. Maybe not the century, but the upset.
He's right that the Rams are playing like shit. The Panthers are just not good. They don't have a quarterback, and their defense isn't too good either. So it's just, but the Rams, man, they don't have an offensive line. And Stafford's getting killed out there. And
can the Panthers
Robinson's
stop
been very, very bad. Robinson's been bad. Jefferson's been hurt. They don't really have a slot receiver. There's a lot of problems in LA. And they don't have draft picks because they traded them all. So they're in a bit of a spot, the Rams.
They certainly are.
They're going to beat the Panthers.
Got the Cardinals taking on the Seahawks. A couple of 2-3 teams out there in the West. Big game, actually, because that NFC West is an interesting division.
Seahawks.
Nobody really running away with anything. This is a very big game. Is DeAndre Hopkins back yet, or how long is his suspension for?
Tony's going Seahawks.
I kind of want to agree with him there.
Rob going Seahawks?
It's in Seattle. I'm gonna go Cardinals. I still got some belief in Kyler Murray.
I've got belief in Kyler Murray too. I'm going Cardinals.
This is a good one. We got a couple of good games coming up here.
We're just going with all the same teams.
Have we? We haven't really. We got a couple of different ones, right?
Not really.
But maybe this one will be different.
I
We got
wouldn't change anything, to be honest. It is what it is.
these next couple of games could decide the week because we got the Bills and the Chiefs at 4:25. How is this
Right. I've
not
got the
prime time?
Chiefs. I have got the Chiefs.
I've got Buffalo.
Beautiful. So let's go.
And
Is
Tony
it prime
says that
time?
it's 4:25. It's not prime time. And thank
Why
you,
is that
Tony.
not prime time?
Tony says that next week Hopkins is back, so that'll be good for
That
Arizona.
should be Sunday Night Football.
Well, Sunday Night Football is Cowboys-Eagles.
Well, I'd
And
prefer
Tony's-
that to be 4:25, to be honest. But
I prefer one of these two games to be the Monday night game because Monday night's going to be blech, in my opinion. But Tony's got the Bills.
so Cowgirls versus E-Girls. Who have you got?
It's in Philly. That crowd is going to make Cooper Rush's life hell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Philly again. They haven't let me down when I've picked them so far. I hate it. Tony also picks the Eagles. I'm going Philly. They're going to go to 6-0 if they win. Jesus.
I've actually going Cowgirls. I like Micah Parsons and Lawrence and their pass rush against them. I think their quarterback could maybe struggle. Hurts could maybe struggle with that kind of pass rush, Micah Parsons, etc. So that's why I'm going Cowgirls. Rob, you're going E-Girls.
And to round out the week, Monday Night Football, the Broncos and the Chargers. Russell Wilson and Denver coming off of an absolute snooze fest last week on Thursday Night Football, which was followed up last night with another snooze fest, Commanders over the Bears. Thursday Night Football is an absolute travesty this year.
It was. Well, I turned it. It was 0-0 with like 2 minutes left in the half, and I turned it off. I couldn't watch any more of it.
The NFL, I'll say this, the NFL is extremely lucky the Yankees got rained out yesterday because I think a lot of channels would have flipped to the MLB playoffs last night.
Oh, yeah.
I think people were begging for an Aaron Judge live looking during that game.
What honestly made them think, oh, that would be a great primetime game, Thursday Night Football. Two of the worst teams in football. 12-7.
Disgraceful. Tony's got the Chargers.
I mean, I'm glad because I had the Commandos winning week 6 in the Boys and Big Apple thing, so that's good for me. But, I mean, that's such a disgrace. Carson Wentz didn't even throw for 100 yards. He threw for 99 yards.
99 yards. He was 12 of 22. Robinson ran for 60. They ran the ball well. Justin Fields, it's time to start thinking of, he doesn't have a ton of help. He ran the ball really well, but is he really the guy to be the quarterback?
Well, he threw for double the yards Wentz and ran for almost 100 himself. So, I mean, he is basically their offense. But they suck, man. They don't have any receivers.
They're bad.
Pettis and Mooney. Pettis! That was the dude that we tried for a while.
Yeah, he was a kick returner. He barely played for the first few weeks that we had him. They signed him and held him hostage, basically. And
Cole Kmet, Mooney. I mean, my God. That Bears team is just garbage. It's amazing that they're 2-4. I'd have them 0-6, to be honest. I think they're just an awful franchise. Okay, so anyway.
So Chargers, Broncos. I got the Chargers taking this one.
I have them taking it too.
And so does Tony. He also says that he had Samuel on his fantasy team for a whole 2 points. Well, I wouldn't start any Washington or Chicago players in fantasy.
Well, again, why is that? Why are they constantly putting the Broncos in primetime?
I don't know. That's actually a really good question.
I know that Russell Wilson was traded there and they had an okay team, but I mean, that team is not that good that we had to see them every single primetime. And Russell Wilson was terrible last year.
He really was.
So, and he's been terrible this year. So bad that it looked like KJ Hamler wanted to waterboard him after missing him on 4th down at the goal line. Anyway, so and it all comes down to us: Cowboys, Eagles, Bills, Chiefs,
Giants, Ravens holds a
and
key.
Giants, Ravens. Everything else, we're pretty much in agreement on. Never go against your first thought. I'm not going to change my mind. It's because I did that in previous weeks, thinking, you know what, I wanted to be different, but it's always gone against me. It's always go with your gut. And Rob, you're certainly winning the week so far, I believe.
Well, we will see how it goes, and that is going to wrap it up for us here at Nerd Out Sports. I want to thank everybody in the chat: Tony, Clark, Tudo, Luca. Alex was in here for a little bit in class, kind of breaking the rules there in school. Pay attention to class, please, Alex. We appreciate you popping in, but go get those college credits, whatever you're doing out there. And be sure to check out Boys in the Big Apple Monday night with Donald, Luca, and Alex. Be sure to subscribe to their channel, Big Blue in the Bronx, and subscribe to us, of course, here at Nerd Out Sports. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe.
And give your thoughts on Rob's awesome new intro.
Yes, please do.
For our show. I think it's badass, and the nice new logo. We're looking pretty pristine. We're looking like the New York Football Giants. Yes. We've now got a podcast that befits the great Giants. So I'm proud.
Certainly do, and that is going to wrap it up once again for us. So once again, thank you, and be sure to do all those good things: like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, so when we go live again, you'll be notified. Follow us on Twitter. Links are all in the description, and that's going to do it for us. We will see you all next time, hopefully talking about a Giants victory. Let's go, G-Men. Peace out.
Let's go Blue.
Go Blue.